Hello, everybody. I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster.
And this week in Toku, we're going to be discussing Gaku Sano shooting his mouth off, tons of Figuarts, and King-ohger getting more nuts than Michael Keaton. But before all that, Buster, how you doing?
Lazy. By the time this episode comes out, I will have started the new semester at college. I don't know future me, how am I doing?
Well, there's no portal, so you didn't invent time travel.
Future me, I'm gonna comment on this video saying it was a good day or a bad day. We'll see.
Oh, no.
How are you doing, Mr. Huminator?
I'm better than I honestly expected it to be. The first day of the semester, which was today for me, wasn't too bad. It was just like a very consistent and gentle reminder that, like, oh yeah, I don't like most people.
That is pretty bad, honest.
But it's like I don't spend a lot of time with them at my job. It's just the few times I did, I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking stupid. This person's an idiot. I don't like them.
Yeah. Believe me, when you look at social media long enough, you're like, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, well, you gotta learn how to filter social media properly. You gotta make it so your feed is just nothing but ultra liberal communist meme tokusatsu people.
Yeah. So just Zaya, just Tim all over, just a bunch of Tims.
Yeah, fucking spoiler for the end of the year. I'm leaving Modular Media to form a new group of Tim.
Wait, legit?
No, I'm fucking around.
Okay,
Tim is welcome back on the show anytime, though.
Yeah.
And you all are welcome to support the show because here on YouTube, we need every little bit of help we can get in the algorithm. So don't forget to hit like on this video, comment down below with some of your thoughts on stuff from this last week of Tokusatsu. Subscribe, ring that bell, get the notifications going so that you know when every episode of TWIT drops, even though it's usually Tuesday afternoons at 10 past noon EST. But you know, sometimes it might be different. You never know. And for further help with that, you can also follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at The Modular Media, on TikTok at Modular Media, and on Tumblr at Modular Media. But it's all the plugging that needs to get done tonight. So let's get into some news. We got a fair bit of news this week, or at least a fair bit of stuff I found interesting. And first and foremost, this is some fresh hotness coming right off the presses of Japan World Heroes. For those of you who don't remember, a few months back, we talked about Gaku Sano, Kamen Rider Gaim Kota Kazuruba Man is making his, or did make his North American convention debut at that show, which took place this last weekend in Pasadena, California.
And Ultraman Gaia was there, and I'm so jealous everyone got to meet him and not me.
Yeah, Gaku Sano had a panel, and apparently at some point in the panel, he teased Gaim 10 years later content is going to be happening in the next year or so, which take that with a grain of salt, because I literally just saw one tweet about this. I didn't even see people were taking videos at the panel, but I never saw a full video of the panel or a video of this moment. But I don't see why Gaku Sano would just be sitting there going like, I hope I get to do Gaim 10 years later content. He seems like the kind of guy who would be like, yeah, we're working on it. What if we actually are? And he wouldn't say anything if they weren't.
Honestly, this makes too much sense. Gaim's a popular show. It's already still gets merged to this day. Just doing 10 years out, and the actors still like doing the roles. So 10 years after content, just makes sense.
Yeah, my only like real thing with it is just like, what the fuck is that story gonna be? Because they've already explored the hell out of that universe in after content, and like, are they gonna get Urabuchi back?
I mean, he did do the Zangetsu stage play.
He did. Get Urabuchi writing a little V cinema, little hour and a half.
He's gonna freaking Madoka movie that shit.
Oh my god!
I've not watched the Madoka movie, so I have no idea what happens in them. I'm just being like,
I know vaguely the plot details of all of Madoka. I've never sat down and watched it myself.
I watched the anime when it was on Netflix, and it's fine. It's a fine show. But like, I've never seen the movies, which apparently are a mixed bag from what I heard.
Yeah, just going off of that, I think it would. But I'm sorry, I got a little kerfuffled there. I think just going off of what I know of Madoka's after content, if they get Urabuchi back, I would not be surprised if this is like, okay, we're going to finally give fans a really satisfying conclusion in a way we didn't the first time around. It's going to be everybody, Kota gets the band back together to finally go after DJ Sagara and take his ass down.
Is DJ Cigar's actor even still working?
I have no idea.
They could probably do like a Monster Mash kind of stand-in for him.
They could fucking deep fake him.
No, not that.
It's Toei. I wouldn't
I
put it
know.
past them.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this today. I had a lot of random thoughts in relation to topics we're going to talk about tonight, so I might have a lot of tangents tonight. But one of those thoughts was, I'm willing to bet the only reason Bandai and Toei never got in on crypto is just because that those companies are run by a bunch of backwards ass old ass boomers. If they had been run by people under 40 or like in their 40s, there probably would have been, throughout all the pandemic shows, like fucking items you can only get by purchasing them with fucking Bandai bucks or something like that. and there would have been like a fucking word we don't like saying that ends with token of Sabura Kimura's big dumb racist face or something.
Yeah. Or maybe they just already knew, like, I mean, Tsuburaya did do a few of those.
Yeah, so they're fucking corporations are greedy, dude. They'll do whatever they have to tell their story that sells their shit. And speaking of selling their shit, we got a new Shogoken modeling project announcement this week. We've known this was coming for a little while. I believe it was teased about 3 or 4 months ago. But we got the official full reveal of Shogoken modeling project, or SMP, or fucking Super Mini Paw, whatever you want to call it this week. Won Tiger from Die Ranger, better known to Power Rangers fans as Tommy the White Ranger's White Dragon Zord White Tiger Power Go Now. It looks really good. I've always loved the design of this mecha, and I think they did a fantastic job updating it here.
It is one of the best 6 mechs. It is just like, I think probably my favorite of this time is like Zeo O-Ranger Gold's mech.
The fucking Pyramidas?
Yeah, that's my favorite one. I just love Zeo Zords in general. They just hit for me.
That's fair. I like the main Zeo Megazord, but most of the other Zords in that season don't do it for me. But I think the same can be said for the White Tiger Zord, honestly. And I'm just going to keep calling it the White Tiger Zord because I ain't fucking seen Die Ranger. I don't care for like the what is it, the Shogun Megazord or the Thunder Megazord, excuse me, or Ninjor or any of that, but I think the White Tiger Zord is fucking awesome, and I love that we have a version of it that can actually pose a little bit now.
Yeah.
I would be very tempted to get this if it wasn't going to make me do the work of assembling it myself, but if you want to go ahead and get it, it's going to release in Japan in December, and pre-orders are probably up at all the fucking usual places, Toku Collectibles, BBTS, those kind of people. But speaking of stuff that's coming in the distant future, and probably should have been here by now, we got another update on Cleopatra Records' Shin Ultraman Blu-ray this week. Apparently, they're doing a 3rd edition of the discs that's going to fix the subtitles to be actually subtitles of the dialogue in the Japanese and not subtitles of the dub, and get rid of the green dots that some people had with their 2nd edition discs. However, they don't know when they're going to be able to send that to people because they are so backed up due to the 2nd edition replacements that they don't even know when they're going to be able to print the 3rd edition ones.
This whole thing's been a dumpster fire, and I hate it.
My severe condolences to anybody who pre-ordered this and got it first round. Hopefully the 3rd edition will come by the end of the year, and it'll be good, and there will be no more problems, and and Cleopatra Records will learn their lesson from this, and hopefully we'll get some stuff that's actually good right off the bat from them at some point. Right now, it's just a waiting game to see how this shakes out, which does kind of suck. My big thing, though, I would say is just like if if there's not going to be any kind of like major difference in listings for these, if they're just going to put them up through the regular listings that the first edition went through, do some kind of change on that packaging. Throw a sticker on there that says like the true edition or the updated edition, or do what fucking Mattel used to do when they'd reissue Masters of the Universe classics. Put a big fucking Impact font sticker on there that says the original.
God damn. I got nothing. It's this whole situation's been depressing.
Also, quick correction before we move on, because I was just like glancing at this thing, though I did read it yesterday. The third round of discs are going to ship out sometime at the end of next month. So we do have a expected date, but still, that's long after we probably should have gotten a proper version. Anyway, let's move on to something that's a little more interesting in terms of media releases. 2 new Japanese books about behind-the-scenes Ultra Series stuff have been announced. First of all, Aso Kubo Ultra Monster Museum is going to be coming out very soon, and it is going to be a essentially step-by-step behind-the-scenes guide into how some of the models of the monsters in the earliest Ultra shows were made by one of the effects people from that time. And there's no word on this getting translated into English at this point in time, but you can order it through Japanese booksellers, and I think this one's going to be worth picking up because some of the detailed photos of the process back in here, like one of the scanned pages they have for promotional purposes, is like a page of how they made the original Zeton model using a modern recreation. Looks really cool just to study as like a model maker or a customizer, I would think.
Yeah, these are really cool things.
Yeah. And also The Adventures of Akio Jisayoji? I don't know how you would pronounce that last name. Is going to be coming out very soon, and it's essentially an autobiography of the dude who directed some of the most famous episodes of Ultraman and Ultra 7, who also came back later in life to work on Tiga, Dyna, and Max after doing a bunch of big famous Japanese movies. This one's probably going to be less interesting to those who can't read Japanese, but if you can, or if we can get like a translation going for it on some level, I think it'd probably be an interesting thing to look at. I'm a big fan of autobiographies personally. Anything to add on those, Buster?
Nope. Just they're cool shit, and I hope to see some translations, even just minor translations.
All right. Well, the middle portion of the news is nothing but Figuarts announcements, because fucking Bandai just dumped a shit ton of stuff on us this week. First of all, we got more images of the Shinchoku Seiho Kamen Rider Faiz, specifically showing off some more of his signature poses and how well this figure can do them, and the fact that all his little bits and bobs are going to be able to come off of his person, and he can hold them. Like, there's going to be 2 different versions of the phone, the little punch gauntlet, and the pen blazer pointer thing. I forget what any of these are called. I'm sure they have specific names, but yeah, this figure's looking real good. I'm real tempted by it, even though I don't like Faiz that much. Do you think they're going to do a Kaiser to go with him?
I hope so.
Yeah, they should. You know what? I just realized, because I'm just going off my head here, Kaiser Day is coming up.
Oh,
They should fucking announce Shinchoku Seiho Kaiza on Kaiza Day this year. If they're smart and they have their schedule in order, they'll do that.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna get some Kaiza announcement, especially with the 20th anniversary movie coming.
They're gonna announce he's in the next episode of Outsiders.
Oh my god. Or maybe we'll finally get an English release of that manga. Maybe.
Yeah. Also, a little update here. The Amazon exclusive version of Kamen Rider 1+2 from Shin Kamen Rider, which, again, big spoilers for the end of Shin Kamen Rider, got a few new images this week showing off that it's going to have a few more exclusive parts than we originally thought. We originally thought this was going to be just the Kamen Rider 1+2 figure, but with an exclusive unhelmeted head. But also, it's going to come with a thumbs up hand to recreate that one scene, and the sort of battle damaged Hongo helmet from that one shot, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I think this is going to be the definitive version of Hayato from that movie to get, because
Yeah.
a lot of these accessories are pretty key to like some of his biggest moments in the movie. And I think people were so upset that the figure didn't initially come with the thumbs up hand that SHF Upgrade did like a $15 here. We made a thumbs up hand just for this figure.
Bruh. Like, yeah,
Um,
I'm tempted, but the figure arts are too expensive for my budget right now.
Fair enough. I don't think I'm going to get these anytime soon, but if I do ever get around to getting the Shin Kamen Rider figure arts, I probably will get this version of Hayato and the unhelmeted version of Hongo.
Yeah.
But speaking of all kinds of parts we didn't initially know about, we got some updates on SHF Garon this week, because last week, you remember, we only had like one or two images to go on, and I was saying like it looks like he it's just the figure and option parts for the dizzy eyes, and that kind of sucks. I want the happy eyes and I want the shoulder cannons. Well, it turns out they were holding off on some of that stuff because of something that happens in this week's episode of
Yeah.
Blazar. He is going to come with the happy eyes, and he's also going to come with eyes to represent this week's episode when he gets taken over by the aliens and goes berserk. Still no sign of the shoulder cannons, but I could see them doing another release that includes those.
Honestly, I see if if there's another Blazar figure art, it's gonna come with the shoulder cannons.
Also, this thing looks way more posable than I initially thought from the first photos. Like
Yeah,
some
it
of the
looks
poses they got it
beautiful.
into. I am very tempted by this thing. Like I'm not in love with Earth Garon as like a fixture of the show and the DX toy. Like it looked good for what it was to me, but this is really tempting me. I do like the way this thing looks a whole bunch. But that's it on Figuarts updates. Now we're going to get into some announcements that happened this last week. First off, we're getting a alternate release of SH Figuarts Ultraman Tiga called SHF Glitter Tiga. I believe this is a show or a Tamashii exclusive. Oh, it's a Tamashii Nations 2023 event exclusive, and is it based on like a specific moment in the show that I don't know
Yes,
about?
yes, it's based on the final moment of Ultraman Tiga, where all the children and people of the world come together, and yeah, that's the thing the Trigger finale ripped off.
I see.
Yeah, and that was a pretty cool moment, and Glitter Tiga's kind of become a fixture in like Tiga post content, so yeah, it makes sense to do a figure of him. I don't like the suit, honestly. It's just not my thing. Like, I like gold, but it clashes with everything in the original Tiga suit. I didn't like it in Glitter Trigger. I don't like it here, you know.
Yeah, I think but I do think it's like a toy thing. This is, again, a really good idea for an exclusive, because it's something that's only in like one episode and isn't like a must-have if you just want like a really good Evergreen Ultraman shelf. But if people really like that one moment, they're going to pay the money to get this, or they're going to go to that event just to get this. The one thing I would say is, from the information I've been able to glean, they didn't change the actual figure molder construction at all. So it's still going to have that rubberized chest section that could potentially lead to paint shipping. So if you do get this, be careful with it.
Yeah, because I heard like horror stories about the original Tiga figure art.
Yeah. But speaking of variants, we also got an announcement for a premium Bandai exclusive SH Figuarts OhKuwagata-Ohger, which, big fucking surprise there. Everybody saw this coming.
Yeah. And I love the way this translates to figure arts, honestly.
Yeah, the King-ohger suits are like made for Figuarts because they have so much like little bits of armor and segmentation that really help hide some of the joint gaps way better than a regular Sentai suit.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I hope they do, like, I might pick up the original King-ohger figure art because I heard it's getting good reviews.
Yeah.
I think. And it just, like, this is just, like, pushing the deal, like, yeah, this mold looks cool. I kind of hope they do, like, King Kuwagata-Ohger eventually, because that's my favorite King-ohger suit.
Yeah.
So.
The one thing I will say, like possibly critique-wise about this announcement, it does say again that the cape is going to be soft goods like regular Kuwagata-Ohger's is, but in every fucking photo here, it's in the same pose. How are people supposed to know you can pose this cape if you're going to have it in the same, like, flared out pose that just makes it look like a solid hunk of plastic? Come on, Bandai.
Maybe it's like to replicate some movement in the show. I don't know.
Yeah. But that's it for Sentai Figuarts. Little more Rider Figuarts new announcements came out this week. First of all, SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Ziin is happening, and to go with it, we're getting SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Geats Boost Mark II and Laser Boost, which is going to be technically a 2-pack, except you're only getting one base body, and you're getting swappable parts to make it into either form, which I think is kind of a smart way to handle those forms, honestly.
Yeah, especially because they're bundle forms, so it makes sense.
Yeah, these look pretty good. They look on par with all the other Geats Figuarts, which is they're Figuarts. They're really good. And I will say I do like Jean's suit a lot more as an action figure than I did as an actual suit for some reason. I didn't dislike the suit in the show, but I was just kind of like it's fine. For some reason, as a toy, it looks really good. And as I said on Twitter, I completely forgot Jean existed for like the last 3 weeks until I saw this announcement.
Yeah, and like I think he might show up in the final episode, but
There's a shot of him in the next time preview, so I guess so.
Yeah,
But yeah, fucker's not been around, and a lot has happened in Geats since he left, so I forgot about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe these are both going to be, premium Bandai exclusives that are also going to get Team Rider releases, so should be fairly easy to get a hold of, but, the insert where's the show comment here.
Yeah.
And moving into kind of a questionable thing to cover, but I wanted to include it here for completionist sake. They announced new details about the Monsterverse show. We're not going to discuss this in much detail. I just wanted to have it there for completionist sake. If you want to look at it, the link is going to be down in the video description. But because this is an American production that is struck content, it is very up in the air on whether or not we'll be covering this. It's supposed to release later this year, but whether or not we're going to cover it depends on whether the current writer and actor union strikes conclude. But if you want to read about it and potentially get interested in it, I'm not going to discourage you from watching it. I'll probably watch it whether we cover it or not, because I think the premise is actually really interesting. Yeah, that's all we can really say on that. So, moving back into Japanese Toku news, we got an announcement for the voice actress for the little Hopper1 puppet that you saw for like one shot in the Gachard trailer. It's the lady who voiced Sei-chan in Zenkaiger, Misato Fuken. She also voiced Kanegemon in that one episode of Ultraman Z, which I didn't realize until I looked her up after this announcement. She did such a good job of replicating the original actress's or actor's performance that I straight up did not notice it was a different voice actress. But loved her as Sei-chan. I'm kind of excited. One thing I am kind of excited about with Gachard is the potential of like a little sidekick buddy grasshopper, because we haven't had anything truly like that since like Kamen Rider J, and that is something I've wanted to see done properly in a show for a long time. Though judging by like the premise of the show and the amount of footage the puppet is in the trailer, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just like a one episode appearance.
Yeah, they also announced a bunch of other voice actors, and also, like, outside of Tokusatsu, this voice actress has actually done a lot. She's voiced Iggy in the JoJo anime, the Part 3 adaptation of the dog. She's also voiced Sakura, the Japanese voice for Sakura from Street Fighter, since Street Fighter 4, so that's, like, really cool. Yeah, she's just done like a lot of like roles. I guess like also she was in My Hero Academia as one of the villain chick, like the crazy villain chick teen. I don't know, like, I forgot her name.
Oga?
Toga, yeah,
Yeah, okay. All right. Good for her.
yeah,
This did get me thinking though. Um Buster, can I give you a pitch for a minute here?
sure.
Because I was thinking about the whole, and this isn't like me trying to put down Gachar. Though I will say this was born out of seeing this announcement and then also thinking about like how many characters in wacky I'm a special person outfits there are in that trailer, and like how much that's become a thing in recent writer of like, hey, check out the new Kamen Rider. He's a super special cool guy, but also he's got all these special friends who are going to have their own journeys to go on, and the writer almost feels like a ride along character in his own show sometimes these days. And I'm not speaking like specifically this year or next year. I'm speaking like the last 10 years in general. It's been a vibe of that in Rider of just getting more and more characters with more and more powers so that you can sell stuff. Like you've even got again, to go back to Gachard, Valard showing up in the first few minutes of or in the Gachard trailer in a way that implies he's going to show up at the end of the first episode and be a thing right away. I was thinking the next big anniversary, you know what I would like to see for a Rider show?
What?
I want to see a show that is just about like one or two writers not in one location, not in generic city town Japan, but like traveling around Japan and meeting various characters of the week and getting into like episodic adventures. And you could even give like the main writer a little talking grasshopper sidekick, a la Jay, that teaches him how to use his stuff and whatnot. And it's like a much more throwback to a bygone era of television, while still jamming in all your toys and whatnot. Like I could very easily see a writer who the plot is that, but also like maybe once every couple episodes he bumps into a past writer on his journey. And when he first shows up, like he's got his belt and he's got his little grasshopper sidekick, but he starts getting all these like little gimmick items that give him like a weapon based on a past writer or something, or like a form based on a past writer or something like that. Nothing as overt as like Geo and Revice did, but something in that kind of vein. And like maybe there's one ride along character who is just our eyes into this character's story, and because it would be a grasshopper themed main rider, like 15-20 episodes into the series, ride along character fucking stumbles across like a talking mystical dragon buddy that gives them powers that make them look like an updated version of Kuga, and you do that for the secondary ride. And that's just kind of the idea behind the show. Is just like a subtle homage to writer history with like a throwback to older television is what I'd really like to see Ryder do at some point. In
fact, you should really watch Zubat.
I shouldn't I?
Yeah. Because look, that's just Zubat you're describing. You're just describing like a guy goes throughout Japan looking for guys. There's like,
I mean, that's also like a very common like type of television show that used to exist until like the turn of the century, and I kind of miss stuff like that.
Yeah, true, but like, I mean, if you want like a Toku version of that, Zubat's right there. It's a really good show.
But I want it to be a Kamen Rider.
Well, speaking of big shifts.
Oh man. So fucking we've been theorizing about certain moves and shakeups happening with King-ohger because we got to make way for fucking Kyoryuger man coming in for a few episodes. That could still be happening, but before that, fucking starting in September, King-ohger is going to enter a 2 years forward time skip arc for the rest of the series. That is going to see all the characters be older and a little bit different, and it's going to feature a new set of villains. They're going to be fighting space aliens now.
This is just the second half of Gerd Lagann.
Yeah, I did see that comparison earlier today from somebody. It's fucking weird, right? Like it really feels like there were some major changes made to King-ohger like halfway through. They went, some shit is not working out. We got to do something different here.
I could see that, but also there's a thing that was in the back of my mind while this all happened. That the CGI sets took 6 months. The initial ones for the Earth took 6 months to make. It's been 6 months. This might have been planned from the start. Because we're gonna get new settings.
That would be fucking insane. Especially talking about like this week's episode, which I'll save a lot of that for when we actually get into that episode. But there's a lot in this show that feels like this is not how Sentai does things, and either somebody was really given carte blanche here, or the executives didn't like the risks they were taking, and they came in and fucking made a bunch of changes. And I can't tell which it is. Like, the fact that it's almost at the exact halfway point of the show does lend credence to your idea that it was planned from the start, but I'm just too much of a skeptic to fucking go in with that.
No, I understand. I'm just like, okay, it took 6 months to make these sets. It probably took another 6 months to make the space sets we're about to see. This might have been their grand plan, and the reason like it's been a bit wacky is just execution wise. It's like, so someone mentioned this where it's like there's it feels like they have a lot written in the story bible, but writing it week to week, stuff just gets like weirdly executed from that. You know what I mean? Like I could just see that being a thing, but like I'm very excited for this. I love King-ohger, and this week's episode was great, and I think we're in a good spot right now. And I'm like, okay, this is the first time we're doing shit like this. Let's keep experimenting. I love Zenkaiger, I love Dawn Brothers, and I'm loving King-ohger. Let's keep doing weird shit that shakes up the entire show, especially because, are we gonna have to regrow the mecha? Because I'm thinking, because the mecha's kind of already complete, are we gonna have to, like, regrow that stuff? That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's another thing that's got me really fucking weirded out. That, and the fact that, like, everybody has new hair on this poster. They fucking took away my pretty blonde princess. I'm upset.
She's had red highlights for like a few episodes.
She has, and every time they've done it, I've been like, that looks horrible on that actress. Get that, fucking throw that wig in the trash.
I'll throw your wigs in the trash.
Oh, shit. But yeah, she's got red, she's more of like a slightly missed auburn with like lower red highlights now. Gira's got longer hair, and he's wearing like part of fucking his brother's outfit.
Yeah.
Yama
he looks like an anime character.
He's got fucking ramen hair going on.
It reminds me of something. I just don't know what.
Rita got a bowl cut, and Kaguragi looks like even more of a fucking throwback Warring States guy.
Yeah, like he let his hair grow out.
And
now,
Jeremy got a shoulder pad.
Yeah. Now here's the thing about Jeremy. Based on what happened in this week's episode and the way he's posed up on the time skip poster, is he gonna be the villain?
We shall see. They're saying there's gonna be space boys coming in.
Yeah, but like, or is he cooking something of the space boys? I don't know.
Oh, you know what would be fucking insane?
What?
Don't make it this exact character, but get do like the Bunglai thing from Ju-ohger. Bring in a mega beast hunter, and he's fucking hunting the Bugnarok. So it's like we spent half the show protecting the humans of Terran, and the other half we have to protect the Bugnarok from these crazy space aliens.
Yeah, it seems like we're gonna have to just save the entire universe from shit, which is like,
yeah. So who knows what Fret King's gonna bring with him to fucking Terran, aside from the Hagen TV time.
Yeah, but I'm very excited for this shakeup, and I'm also very excited for more Kamen Rider Outsiders.
Yeah, because literally just as I was sitting down to dinner, Toei dropped the official poster and trailer for Kamen Rider Outsiders Episode 4. Which is going to see a lot more exploration of Kamen Rider Ziin, but also there's going to be a more of a Kamen Rider Ziin.
Was he called? Oh, Ziin.
I'm sorry, I got him mixed up because it's almost the exact fucking name. It's almost like the pronunciation you should go with is Zane, because that's how they say it in the show, and when you translate it, it's spelled Zane. But whatever. Yeah, there's going to be more exploration of Zane's powers, and also Garon's going to get some focus. Mainly having a big old fight with the Metsuba Jinrai Kamen Rider, and finally getting a king form, which initially I was like, that is gaudy as hell, but I love it. Now I'm kind of like, no, it's gaudy as hell, and I love it. Because somebody put out a comparison of like all of Blade's forms and all of Garon's forms a few minutes after this dropped. And seeing this form next to Blade's king form, I actually think I like Garon's king form better.
I'm not ready to say that yet, but Blade's king form is one of my favorite Kamen Rider suits, both thematically and visually.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to see like that kind of replicated here in Garon, and I'm like, as a Blade fan, I'm very excited to see what he'll do.
Yeah.
You know?
Tachibana was my favorite character in Blade, so I'm excited that they're actually going to do something with him, because I joked about it when we talked about episode 3, but it was a bit of a bummer for me when he was in the episode 3 and didn't really do much except say some exposition, and I was like, that's kind of a waste of an actor, but okay.
Well, then they were setting up for this one, so.
Oh, obviously now, yeah.
Yeah.
But
also, Brain's coming back, and he's gonna be in his Kamen Rider form. It's gonna be all fun.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's like Tim Ziman said on Twitter.com. Remember when the show was about Dan and Guy?
No.
Yeah, this fucking show. It's only 4 episodes and it's really gone places. But speaking of going places, Buster, why don't you take us on to the new releases?
All right, guys. I'm proud to announce Peak Toku is back. All the shows were great this week, in my opinion. I don't know how Vac feels. Ultraman Blazar, episode 6, The Invading Aurora.
This episode was really good at giving me an easy choice for the thumbnail this week.
The pecs?
Yeah.
You gotta get the when Taguchi reacting, because the freaking director of the show, Taguchi.
I'm gonna have the reverse shot of it. This is gonna be the fucking thumbnail, dude.
Yeah, oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Taguchi's still there on the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
but yeah, no, the big thing everybody talks about with this episode, it seems, is just like, oh yeah, that's right, that actor is jacked. And they wanted to take advantage of that, obviously.
And that led to people like coming back like, wait, Ultraman Zed's voice actor has ran a horse race or some shit like that, and he won. So it's just like, oh, Super Eye, and someone joked, Super Eye getting all the buff guys and all the fit guys to like take down Bandai and Field.
Yeah, Super Eye do what Toei don't, because remember the last time we saw anyone fucking shirtless in Kamen Rider or Super Sentai, it was Taro, and the man looked like I could fucking break him over my knee.
I thought it was Dan Karuto for Kamen Rider.
Was he shirtless in an episode of Outsiders?
No, he was naked in the V Cinema.
Yeah, but like that was a while ago. We got I mean like the last time anything was released that an actor was shirtless, it was Taro.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah, but I've been really excited to see these aliens ever since we saw them in the opening. And they did not disappoint.
Yeah, this episode was fucking Showa as hell, but I kind of enjoyed it. Like, it reminded me of some of the alien invasion episodes of Ultra Q and the original Ultraman, and also like a bit of a classic Doctor Who vibe.
Yeah, I can see that, like, especially in the English dub acting. I think like I only watched the dub for this episode, but it was I really like the take they went with the character of the kaiju of the episode, not kaiju, alien of the episode.
Yeah, I managed to watch both, and I think both versions came out pretty well as usual. My only complaint would be there's a moment where Captain Gento kind of awkwardly says Wilco, and in the dub, Johnny Young Bosch just kind of says it normally. He doesn't give it like that awkward, like, oh, okay, tinge that the Japanese actor has.
Yeah. Also, just like there was a really good comedic voice acting in the dub this week, just because it's just silly scenarios.
It's a lot of goofy misunderstanding shenanigans, but not in like an annoying way, in a fun way.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, we gotta stop the aliens from doing the things. It felt very much like episode 2 of the original Ultraman, except about the genocide, I think.
The only like real problem I have with it structurally is just like the most of that scene where they're in their little van getting chased by Earth Garon. Didn't love the effects in that. Looked a little below Subaraya's current quality grade to me.
Yeah. Although they didn't make up for it with the shot of like first person shot of Gento.
Even before that, when he fucking gets out of the van and just Carter Grayson's it up, yelling at Earth Garon to shoot him, was fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just love seeing like rogue Earth Garon and just seeing like, oh, there's a heart in him. That's interesting. Will they play around with that?
Yeah, and the actual fight between him and Blazar was pretty good. I really appreciate that. Apparently, there was some real thought put into the suit acting in that scene, because it's the first time Blazar has ever fought something that's not another, like, purely organic living creature. He's never fought anything mechanized before, so he's kind of off his game.
Yeah, and then, like, I love seeing more of the cool, like, the creative ways they finish off enemies.
The fucking Looney Tunes shit he pulls out.
Yeah, I love how it's basically just, it's just whatever the writers want it to be, and I love when they just do that, because it leads to more creativity, especially in, like, good writers, so. Yeah, I guess, it's a nice, simple episode. And also, like, Blazers just have, like, it's not quite as dramatic as the first episode led us to be, but just nice, solid Ultraman episodes. And it's really exciting that we're going to get a two-parter soon.
Yeah, it does seem like next week they're going to ramp up the drama and the main story a little bit more.
Yeah, but just, like, we're getting actual character focus, we doing cool sci-fi stuff, everything, it's good Ultraman. It's just solid Ultraman.
Yeah.
Alright, Geats?
Sure.
Alright, get in your seats for the penultimate Geats. It's Genesis X, Tsurumi's Requiem. How do we feel, Vac?
There's not a lot left to say about this show at this point. It is kind of just, we are barreling towards our natural conclusion. They tried to throw a little bit of a hiccup in the way at the end there, but it's very obvious that it's not a real. It's not. They're gonna pull a he's back bitch halfway through
this man's
the final episode.
Yeah, I do appreciate how they're like at the end the little monologue Sewell gives, and how about like oh you even if you bend the universe, you are still a mortal man. I don't know, like something about that just really clicked with. Just like, that's some really good thematic writing.
There's a lot of thematic dialogue in here that really plays into Takahashi's politics. Watching this episode, I will say, really tempted me to scrap one of the videos I have planned next month to just do a video discussing the politics of the Takahashi trilogy in general. And I do still want to do that, but that's not going to happen next month.
You need time for that, man. You need to like rewatch some 01.
But yeah, there was that, and there's like a lot of little fun moments in here. Like I love after Sewell boots up his copy of Kamen Rider Chronicle and gets that shit going again. There's a little scene during the big final battle of the episode where Buffa, because he's invincible, he's stopping all the fucking ride players from shooting each other, from hurting each other.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it'll be fine. I can't get hurt. And Kay was like, all right, you got it? All right, cool. Just remember, don't hurt them. And it cuts back to him, and brilliant fucking acting on the suit actor's part. I don't know who suit acts Buffa, but they did a great job in that little moment where you can clearly see he like looks back at Keiwa about to hit this ride player with his fucking chainsaw, and he's like, what? Okay, and he just drops it and lets them dogpile him.
I'm looking at the suit actor right now. I think it's Ikto. No, I think Ikto did Tycoon. Who did it in this episode? Because I'm pretty sure Ikto's busy with Gachard right now. Suit actors.
I mean, they shot
Yuya Nawata.
Yeah, Yuya Nawata. I don't know if that was in the script or you improvised that, but either way, you did a great job at fucking bringing it to life.
Yeah.
Did you also get a little chuckle when after having a big CGI fight in the dark dimension of the Game Masters, they just knocked Geats into the fucking Outsiders parking garage?
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's a cool setting because they're all the rain. I'm just a sucker for rain fights.
Yeah, though, like I have seen that they've used that parking garage so much in the last few shows that I'm really wondering, is that on the Toei lot? Is that like right next to Oni Hill? Did they just make that in the last few years and start filming in it immediately? Because it's literally that same parking garage that's been in every episode of Outsiders and was in a few episodes of Revice and 01. Just with a bunch of fucking fake rubble strewn about it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we've talked about Sewell before, but I love the idea and like execution of him as the final villain, because he's a maskless dude, and that's kind of the point. Like, because there's a scene in this episode where like the dots on his chest light up when the audience, for lack of his audience, like glares up of just talking, and that just made me go, oh, Sewell is just one guy, the main guy to lead. The enemy of the show is other people, and like this. It's very thematically interesting.
Again, like made me think about Takahashi's politics a whole lot, which is Takahashi's writer shows. I don't know if what else he's written. I've not checked out any of his other stuff, obviously.
He did one of the Lupin part animes, I think part 5.
Like everything he's done with Kamen Rider has very explicitly been a meditation on the inherent contradictory nature of making art as a commercial product, and there was a lot of that in this episode with the way they play up like very obviously Sewell is just another Dan Masamune. He is an avatar for an executive in charge of a company that produces art that also has to make money, and he's talking about like, well, I'm going to do whatever it takes to wring the most fucking happiness out of the audience because they're what powers us and blah 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 hoo-da-ha. And then halfway through the big final fight of this episode, the audience ditches him because fucking Neon and her dad point out like, hey, he's only going to use you as long as you're useful to him. He'll drop you like he dropped us. And immediately he loses all his power, and I'm like, Takahashi, you're saying something there.
Yeah, I do like. I still think Sewell's kind of a brilliant villain. Like he like one of the better like kind of, because usually in Kamen Rider the final villains can be just bricks, but like no, this isn't just a brick. He might seem that way on the surface, but when you actually think about it and like look at his actions and aesthetic, it's like, oh no, he's actually one of the like better final villains in recent memory.
Yeah, and elaborating on that, even I really like how Giori is used in this episode.
Oh yeah, he's back.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that they essentially made him like a very similar character to people are gonna groan, but I'm making a topical reference here. He's a very similar character to fucking the head of Mattel in the Barbie movie, where he's like, hey, I know we're a business, but I got into this for the right reasons, and I took things too far because I care too much about this one aspect of it, and now you're taking things too far because of this other aspect, and this shit has to stop.
No, so that's actually a great comparison, like legit. Also, what would the aspect that Giori was obsessed with be?
He was saying something about like he wants to really create he wanted there to be a really compelling hero story.
And he thought Geats wasn't.
He thought Geats wasn't initially because he was concerned about how much Geats was fucking with things. And in this episode, he's like, no. Since I've been gone, since I was forced out of the game, I've been able to actually look and see Geats is a legitimate hero. He's been doing a lot of good work here trying to right the wrongs that we've made. And so I'm choosing to side with him now that you've given me my powers back.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how the show will end. Because, like, some people are... I really love the title for the final episode. Spoilers. It's called Daybreak 1, not Genesis F, which is a very interesting title. Because the first episode was called Daybreak F. So that could mean a lot of things.
Oh god, are they doing a fucking time loop?
People are speculating it's a time loop. I think it's just gonna be like, it's metaphorical, where it's like, it's a new day, you know?
It's a new day, yes it is.
Yeah, but like Geats was really good this week.
Geats is gonna come back from the dead and fucking ride in on his motorcycle and be like,
I mean,
hey fucking Kwa, Neon, Buffa, I don't remember your real name. Here, eat these boxes of Bootios while I kick Suel's ass.
Lamau. Yeah, honestly, like, Geats' final arc, like, I've been, like, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 on the whole show. Geats' final arc might bump it up to a 9 for me, because I just really love all the stuff they're doing.
It's been really fucking good. Like we said last week, Tana. I keep forgetting if it's Tanahashi or Takahashi.
Takahashi as a
Okay,
kid.
Takahashi. Yeah, that's right. Tanahashi is the wrestler.
Yeah.
Takahashi has been on their fucking A game with this show. Because, like I said last week, I really enjoyed X8. I thought it had a lot of really interesting stuff to say and handled the current amount of toys Ryder has to shill each year incredibly well. Um, Zero One kind of struggled with those things, and it felt like Tanahashi had some things or Takahashi. God damn it, Takahashi had some things they really wanted to say, but it just kind of got muddled by the end. This feels like they took some time off and came back and went, "No, I fucking got it this time."
Yeah, because like in Zero One just had too much expectations on it. I kind of go over that in my video where it's like it's trying to do the same, but it's trying to be different, and there's just too many cooks in the kitchen in terms of ideas and like what it needed to be. But now Geats, it doesn't have as much expectations. It's just another Kamen Rider, and it excels at that. You know.
Mhm. Also, speaking of Zero One, that gave me like another idea for that big anniversary show pitch I was making. The tertiary writer should be somebody who's like a fan of the main writer, has been like following their exploits through like news broadcasts and social media posts, and was smart enough to make their own like tech-based rider powers and has like a little robot grasshopper sidekick that transforms into the belt
So
as like a zero
Gene,
as like a 01 homage.
yeah, but like also that's just Gene from this show, Geats. Because
Yeah, but you can just easily make that a character archetype and writer from now on.
yeah, it is a good archetype. I do like that
And
archetype.
like have that be like again, free main writers, and that's your only main cast for that show is what I would like to see. Everybody else is just like, I'm here for an episode or two to do
Yeah,
this one-off story.
I
Except for
do hope we
maybe a
get.
big bad who continues all the way through.
I do hope we eventually go back to like four core. Right? I mean, Geats kind of already did it with like kind of like it's still a battle royale, but it's focused on four core riders. I
Yeah.
kind of hope we have more of those. Just like yeah, you could have a lot of like because Geats kind of just kind of like bullshitted around like oh yeah, we have like the most riders in the franchise, but also it's mostly four main riders. You
Yeah,
know?
like I can accept that we're never going to have a show that's just one or two writers again, but I think you could get it down to like three or four in the
Yeah.
whole show and just give them all a crap ton of toys to show.
Yeah. Like that's why I love Build a lot. It's like very focused, but every character has like a billion forms.
Mhm.
So or at least the Sento does. Anyway, King-ohger.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, episode 25, Kings and Countrymen to War.
I'm very mixed on this episode.
I loved it.
Yeah, I know. Cuz like on the one hand, this is like the last 10 episodes of a regular Sentai squeezed into one. Typically in Sentai, they would do something like this to set up the final mech, and it would be all right. We got to find all these people who resonate with the show god's spirits, and we got to go around. And they played up like, oh yeah, we're gonna go through this arduous process of testing everyone in our kingdoms, everyone we know, and then it's just like every kingdom gets one scene where the ruler of that kingdom goes like, all right, you're the fucking person, let's go. But they also play those scenes so damn earnestly that I kind of don't mind that all the fluff that would come with those being individual episodes is stripped out.
Yeah, like when it lacks in like meat, it makes up for in just the core value of the scenes, you know? Of
Yeah,
just
it's like
especially because we've known these characters. They got focus episodes for God's sake.
some of them did.
Well, like all together, they got focused episodes. You know?
Yeah, and we have a general idea of who these people are. It's not like, though I would have loved it if just one of them was just a random fucking extra they only have for this episode. That would have been fun. But I do like that they are all side characters that have some connection and you can easily grapple onto why the show gods would pick that person. That being said, there is a part of me that goes like, yeah, I like this episode, but is this episode like a fine, well done steak, or is it a fucking Cinnabon? And I kind of feel like it's a Cinnabon. That being said, though, I do like Cinnabons.
I mean, good food is good food to me.
Yeah. Uh, uh, but yeah, like all those scenes are really well done. Like I particularly loved the scenes in Tofu and Shogadam.
Yeah.
Like fucking Katsuragi being like, "Oh man, I love my people, and now I have to ask my people to do this horrible work that I have to do to make a good life for them," and the Kurudo is like, "Oh, it's our fucking honor, sir. Of course, we'll fight by your side." And his sister is also there,
Yeah.
uh, and the scene in Shogadam where again it would have been really cool if it was a whole episode, but it still works as just one scene where Duga is like, it. I mean, obviously it's going to be me and it's going to be your little friends. You know it's going to be us. You just don't want to put us in harm's way. Give me the fucking sword, dude. And Gira's like, no. Okay, I'll try and be a good boy and protect my friends still. Like that's all well and good, and obviously everybody really enjoyed the Rita and Morphonia scene.
Yeah, it was really cute. I loved it a lot.
Did you see that they fucking improvised that, by the way?
They did.
Yeah,
Oh.
apparently the script, like not the whole scene, but like apparently the script just says when Morphonia goes to leave, Rita grabs her to stop her. They improvised that it was like a pin you to the wall thing.
They're cooking.
Yeah.
They know. Yeah, that was, and also like this is probably the best King-ohger mech fight. I mean, King-ohgers had just generally had good mech fights in general, I'd say. Like
Yeah,
even besides like the first episode, but like this is a crazy one, man.
it's fucking beautiful, all the actual in-suit stuff they do for this scene.
Yeah, like freaking fires, pillars, and it's like, yeah, no wonder they're doing a new arc because this feels like a final battle, you know?
It's like something out of Lucha Underground, honestly.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy it, though then again, I was like, man, this if this would be like the whole last or penultimate episode in a regular Sentai, this one scene. And I did also just realize today while I was at work, the show gods have never need the like non-main ranger show gods. They've never needed pilots before, and they just go like, "Oh, we're going to need them for this formation," and they don't really explain why. That's something that would have been there if it was a final arc. It is a cool visual. It is really great. I'm just saying, like, I have a very big catch-22 with this episode where it's like I did really enjoy it while I was watching it, but like structurally, logically, I don't know if it works. And it, again, like we were talking about in the news, gives me a vibe of somebody came in and said, yo, this ain't working. Let's push these toys out right now and get this fucking story done and then do something different for the rest of the show.
We'll eventually find out at the freaking end of the show when everyone does interviews and stuff. We'll see.
Yeah. I'd love to get inside the brain of the head writer for this series at the moment.
Yeah, and the producer, because like I think Don Brothers proved the producer has just as much say as the writer.
Yeah. Also, how about Jeremy and Bob the Bugnarok?
Oh, that was beautiful. Really like that. Really love those.
That scene was real good.
Yeah. Oh man, like legit, like yeah, it's a bit rushed, but it doesn't feel rushed to me. It just feels like, yeah, this is an episode of King-ohger, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that
Man.
it just
Is
shows
the
like
whole next episode just gonna be Jeremy fighting Defnarok?
well, like it's probably gonna be like half that and half epilogue stuff. Oh god, the next episode preview for like episode 27. Oh, that's gonna.
Yeah. Oh man, what if the next episode preview is just like mostly going like, oh man, 2 years in the future, what happens to the King-ohgers? Crazy space aliens show up, and then the last fucking shot is just Daigo's big stupid face going, and I'm here too.
We'll see. I think it'll be like the 5th episode of the second arc because I think they're just gonna like freaking Key Ranger Gava on that stuff. Because I was talking about, I think I was talking about this with Vac when we first heard the news. Because like Key Ranger has an episode where they just like they're in space, they're looking for the thing, they get like bitch slapped to another dimension. They have an episode with the Deca Rangers and Gavon guys.
Yep, because Space Squad was coming out.
Yeah, and they do a little adventure. I think that's what the Daigo episode is probably gonna be, and that'll tie into the 10th anniversary.
But we also
Sure.
keep hearing it's not one episode; it's like an arc.
He said that about Juran's appearance in Dawn Brothers. We'll find out.
That's true. It's also just very strange that we still haven't heard anything else about that. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe some wires didn't get crossed, and like the rumor about that was some mistranslated early rumor about the time skip.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. Maybe there's more dinosaurs in King-ohger than we expect. We'll see.
Maybe. If you're real good, maybe Papa Bandai will give you some more dinosaurs.
Yeah, but overall, really great week for Toku. Probably my favorite since Dawn Brothers. And no, King-ohger has had some. There's been some good weeks.
Yeah, I definitely liked everything. I don't know if I'm as hype on it as you.
Like everything's just really clicking all my niches right now, and I know it's like not everything. My niches aren't your niches. I didn't watch anything. I was supposed to watch the Hurricane 20 Years After movie, but here's the thing. I haven't watched 10 Years After yet, so I kind of want to watch that, because just in case they reference that.
Wow, what are you, a bitch?
Yeah. Especially
Damn.
because, honestly, this isn't a high priority for me, because I think Hurricane's just okay. I like Shurikenger, and I don't see any clips of him, so I'm not really, like rushing to go see this movie. Now, when Ranger 20 Years After comes out, I'll be there as soon as it gets subbed.
Okay. I watched, 4 more episodes of Kamen Rider. I watched 73 through 75. And these episodes are fucking weird.
Explain.
Really feels like they had Hayato and Hongo's actors for like 2 days and just shot scenes for them and spread them out throughout these episodes. Because they're very focused on like side characters and little Hiroshis, and Hongo or Hayato only appear in like the third act and maybe for like one little scene at the beginning as well. Kind of gave me a similar vibe to the Hiroshi Fujioka just broke his legs arc. I'm not sure. I probably should look into the production history. Maybe like they were both filming other projects at the time or something like that. But it's just a very odd little set of episodes, and I'm not even sure if it's going to be over next week. The most notable thing in here is just really that they, in terms of story content, the Kamen Rider Kids Club or Kids Brigade or whatever the heck it is gets established. They just abandon all pretenses of the Tachibana Racing Club being what these characters do in their off time, and they're like, nope, they run an entire fan club support network for Kamen Rider. That's a bunch of little Hiroshis riding around on their bikes going, oh, a monster! Let's call Kamen Rider on our little communicator medallions.
I just find that stuff cute, so I don't mind it. Also, they come back for V3. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's cute, and like it's also one of those things where I go like, oh, that was merchandise. That was a fucking you mail away like fucking $5, and John Bandai sends you a little communicator medallion and a Kamen Rider hat and a scarf, and like that's probably like ultra rare, sought after classic Rider merch on the level of like the Superman Club ring in Japan these days. Yeah, I didn't mind it, but it also just felt like very out of place for what the show had done so far. It felt very much like just embracing the fact that this was a highly popular kids show at the time and not trying to be much else, which is a bit of a shame in my opinion, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I've certainly seen worse hard left turns into being more of a children-oriented thing in my time.
Any specifics?
I mean, I made a whole fucking 10-part series, dude.
Oh, mega fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about these episodes. Hopefully I get through the 70s real fast, because I wouldn't be surprised if this continues on through the rest of the 70s, because you said the Double Rider stuff starts in the 80s, so I'm wondering
I just find that like we're talking about decades.
I'm wondering if Hongo or Hayato appearing at the end of, what was it, 71, 72, Maybe that was a false flag. Maybe the good shit isn't for like another few episodes.
Yeah,
We'll see you next week.
Let me freaking look at the arc list I use quickly. You can plug your stuff while we're doing.
Yeah, because the fucking I would very much like to be in the we barely have access to our the stars of our shows arc.
Episode 80.
Okay, so yeah, probably next week I gotta go through a bunch more episodes like this, and then I'll get to the good shit. But,
yeah, that's when Shocker appears.
Way, fucking yeah. I don't know.
I pre-ordered a Toku thing, but I can't talk about it because it's not in my hands.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll just say what it is. It's an Ultraman Gaia statue.
Oh my god.
I love Gaia.
You didn't even get the fucking Figuarts? You got a statue?
It was on sale, and there's no Gaia Figuarts to my...
Oh, what the hell, Bandai?
Well, Van Presto made the statue, and I've kind of already been eyeing the statues because I actually see them in, like, local stuff.
That's fair. I have heard good things about Ban Presto. Like, I know a guy who used to buy all the McFarlane My Hero Academia figures and buy the Ban Presto statues and swap the heads on those, because the Ban Presto statues had way better face sculpts, but he liked the posability of the McFarlane figures.
Very interesting. Yeah. I think these are a bit bigger to match the Ultraman size, but I'm very excited to get it, and I'll talk about it when I get it. Maybe next week. We'll see.
Coolio. But until next week, where can people find you on the internet, Buster?
I'm Buster Corp. I do too much goddamn videos.
You and me both, buddy.
Yeah, there's a when does this episode come out? Okay, there's a re-upload this week. And next week, we have a video game review, but as of the last week, I did a Kamen Rider 01 video, a video on the first Spider-Man fan film. Gee, I wonder why I did that. And also re-uploaded my Pokemon Scarlet and Violet analysis. The Futo PI video that's coming out this week is the last re-upload for a while, then after that, it's like all new content. Also, stay tuned, because since Geats is ending and King-ohger's ending ? I'm gonna do videos on those, just individual. Here are my thoughts on those shows. You know, if you want to have get more coherent thoughts on my coherent thoughts on those.
Okay, well, I am the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos.
Also, I have a Blue Sky.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got a Blue Sky. What's your Blue Sky?
My Blue Sky is just simply bustercorp.bsky.social.
Okay, yeah. Everybody go follow Buster on Blue Sky, because as soon as Modular. As soon as I have an invite code to make an account for Modular, we're all getting the fuck off Twitter. We're done.
I'm staying on there. I'm the last man standing. I'm gonna be the guru Larry of Twitter.
No, you get the fuck out of there for the sake of your own sanity. You're the one who always complains about internet fatigue.
True.
All right. I'm the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos. They're things I'm sometimes proud of. You can find them at the Vacuuminator on YouTube. I'm also on TikTok, posting clips of my older videos at the _Vacuuminator, and that same web address can be used to find my Instagram, where I post daily action figure photography, and all my content gets collated under my main social media platforms. That being Twitter at the Vacuuminator, Blue Sky at the Vacuuminator.bsky.social, and Tumblr, thevacuuminator.tumblr.com. But folks, that's it for this week in Tokusatsu. We'll see you back here next week for whatever happens that week in Tokusatsu.